Turn it down until the special the pound of it. Finessing the sound of city, ripping the town with it. Stepping next with intensity from the hip hop and rappers pay the respects and love for bit sobbing. The motto is slaughter. Get them hot and bob and then it's off. And then I'm washing them down with the flip of scotch and gin. Off the top of free falling, hopping up off the cliff. We speak the truth, you refuse it, you quick to call it myth. The asking chick, I think all is Washington Monument. When we stop being high, we'll finally call it quits. Morning, Nick Fell. Emperor Chance, DeLorean started to fly. Thought it into the past, brought him from dark to the light. With the infinite loves, we are part of the vibes. In the literal sense, said morning, Nick Fell. And the Emperor Chance, DeLorean started to fly. Thought it into the past, brought him from dark to the light. With the infinite loves, and we are part of the vibes. Days out, but I stay cold. Got a job, but the pay's low. Gotta lay low in the pesos. You cooked up, pay hoes. Nigga, man, laugh in the daytime. Serve the order for lay mine. And the state prime with the great wine. Heard about me from the grapevine. Be a new breed to the new leaf. Doesn't brew weed in the two-seater. Off meter, I'm a product feeder. I just gotta eat it. Straight 900 Fahrenheit. It's apparent that you would never lick this spirit in. Come repair. Be a man, sorry, never live.
And we could it's like almost like a really cool interlude to like a whole like CD album or something like that. Like you could like stretch. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So
appreciate y'all.
Oh man.
No, we're very sincere. We appreciate
Hey,
thank you.
I mean, it's literally like a breath of fresh air. And there's nothing to say anything wrong with what we listen to on the norm.
Yeah.
You know, to have somebody, you know, the type of music that naturally makes you feel good with natural instruments. I mean, again, I felt like I was literally there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a great feeling. I can only imagine what the live shows are like. You know,
man.
We have some fun
in the studio.
Oh yeah, the end of this song, I consistently have to take my glasses off and like throw them somewhere because like we just go.
Yeah.
The first couple of times I didn't take them off and they just flew somewhere. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah.
Hey,
So now we like
I even-
down and then like now we go.
I even jump into the audience and start dancing with the audience. And we just wild out. Like,
That particular song is usually a hype. We have that right in the middle
Wow.
because like you need people like time to rest before like they do this
Right.
one and then some afterwards because
Right.
it's a good time. It's fun.
Right. No, it was awesome. Whitney, you got anything you want to say?
I really do enjoy it. And I don't even like jazz. I really don't. It makes me want to punch a cat. I really do.
Wait, why a cat specific?
That's okay.
Hey,
We're gonna discount that. There's just enough jazz in there for her to enjoy it.
It's
That's
acceptable.
fine.
I can listen to you.
We will-
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine what it would like it live. It would just be amazing. The lights and all that stuff.
And to watch people dance and interact with it, yeah, that would be really fun. So
And
Thank you.
And I there's shows that I know, like one of the shows that I do, we're definitely gonna talk because I would love to have you guys at one of the shows that we do or that we're a part of, and to have you guys come out.
That'd be
Yeah,
sick.
Yeah, we'd love to.
So we'll definitely talk about that as well. So give your whether you have a band social media or your personal social medias. Now let's go ahead and give that out. People can follow you. Or when's the next show? If you guys have dates for that.
So the next show that we're playing is going to be in Athens, Ohio. We're playing at the Union on April 18th. As far as Columbus, I feel like it's safe to say we will be playing in Columbus that following weekend, whether it's the 19th,
Yes.
20th, or 21st. Keep up with us on the internet. We're The Emperor Chaz on Facebook, at The Emperor Chaz on Instagram and on Twitter. That's really where you'll get all the main Emperor Chaz news. We have our personal accounts. But those are pretty much, at least for me, a lot of reposts.
Might also
Yeah,
add
that's
that
smart.
there's another couple of shows in the lineup. April 27th is going to be a show at Ruby Tuesdays on campus. I will be doing a solo Marty McFly set opening for Mr. Anderson. Shout out Mr. Anderson. Another live jazz hip hop crew around here. And then the following month, May 24th, the Emperor Chaz and Mr. Anderson will finally be uniting a couple of the jazz hip hop titans in the area. So that's what's on the books right now, but
and that's
many
also at
more.
Ruby Tuesday.
many more. Ruby Tuesdays as well.
But basically, The Emperor Chaz on all social media platforms. Look that up, and that's where you can get updates on when we're going to play, when we have music coming out, anything related to that.
Okay. Well, we and don't feel like you guys have to go at all. I'm really just happy that you guys are here. I know there was a tease that we'll play a little bit later on.
Mhm.
We're gonna do a quick break. We're gonna get into our topics that Tiffany has for us, and like I said, you guys are more than welcome to hang out, continue to
Yeah.
conversation with
Yeah.
us, and all of that, because
We're along for the ride.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You still there? You still with us too?
Still there. I'm probably
Hey,
gonna have
yeah.
Hey, Julie.
you will never remember.
It's nothing new. I don't even know why
You
keep
literally
bringing it
had
up.
him.
Terrible. Terrible.
It's not his thing. It's
It's
fine.
not my thing.
It's fine.
Give me 6 months. We'll be good.
Right.
6 months.
When you're friends for real, no remember.
I'll never forget a face though. You guys like that? You guys names?
Yeah, terrible,
Why are you
dude.
so-
But yeah, I'm just absolutely
Before I
faces.
remember
Yeah.
someone's name.
Can't do it.
You meet so many people every day. It's just sometimes.
I can't even remember where I put my phone.
You said what?
I can't even remember where I put my phone.
I have no idea where anything is at all.
That's why it takes us an hour to get anywhere.
Don't even know where I am, Kurt.
Wait, Gabe.
So this is what I'm gonna do because I also got a couple of requests for this too since the last time we played it. And it is our Who's Next track of the week anyway. So I'm gonna play the Marlon Monroe song again.
Okay.
Talk relationships and then
Did
come
you
back.
request it again?
Yeah, a couple people did.
That's all.
Okay.
Yep. So wow. Yes. So we're gonna play that. We're gonna play that again,
All right,
and then
calm
we'll
down.
get into our
You're
tips
spicy
joint.
today.
So y'all don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Oh man.
You would have asked me, you would have heard me say that damn, your daddy is bad, yeah. I seen them chicks out that way. I'm like, hey, ooh. But now I feel so stupid because you used to be my woman, and now we can't even talk. Why can't we never get this right? You can never say I didn't try. Where I put out that fight, it's 4 years, 14, remember that I done tried enough, I done cried enough. I had your backbone through the flaws and all. I was fucking with you the whole ride. But no, it's still part of my life. I'm stupid and foolish. Why'd you have to do me? I'm like, so I'm like, fuck relationships. I like you from the better fuck relationships. I like one is better fuck relationships. Being single is just fun. And never do you wrong. Relationships. I like one is better fuck relationships. I like one is better fuck relationships. Built up anger, sleeping with a stranger. Now you just an enemy, can't even be a friend of me. No, no, you ain't real, you just pretend to be. You know that you ain't real, you just pretend to be. And that all goes to show that you never know who you're dealing with, and who you make me sick. The truth's so sick, and now I'm full of guilt. And you a trick, how you trick my mind? Man, how the hell was I so blind? And where you find the time to bet I can't rewind, I can't spend. I should've listened to them signs. I should've never been so kind. I should've never made you mine. Oh, no. Relationship, I don't want it, don't need it, don't need it. Want it, don't need it. I don't wanna believe it. Most of them guys just sing about relationships. Like money, it's better, it's better. Like money is better. Relationships. Relationship, I don't need it, don't need it. Want it, don't need it. I don't wanna believe it. Relationships. 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 Money to be made. A girl like me rather get paid. The boys was lame anyway. I'd rather save for rainy days than to have my face rain like rainy days.
Chaz.
You better believe I'm always gonna know. Niggas are always gonna rise. The fear I instill in them. So deep from the trio. No matter, I'm gonna see this out to everyone knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Coming it down, taking it chill, bro. If you're fucking about, it's gonna be sure that blood will spill. I kill Bill. Deep drill, similar to a roller coaster ride. This is most of the humidity of you all the time as I slip by. I notice with some of the hocus pocus bullshit. Oh shit, now I'm losing my focus. I feel in the syllabus on my rap quicker. In the back, sinking, I'm sinking. Straight liquor, first figure. Plotting your demise, hit you with a surprise attack. You're dead, rotten, dying, exactly flies. Give us all the secret. Take me through example. I'm the best, you respect to spit proud over the sample. I'm taking again. All the shit out there for anybody with 2 ears that cares about you. Shit, somebody's gotta do it. For those people that they say, so how do you do it in the sewers? Only 90 bumping into young to appreciate the rappers coming. Now it's 7 or 8 hours again. I can't relate to what we face today. I need to say, but what we want to say, we need to get paid. I'm at the tabernacle, have to slice your rappers at them. Tackles at the battle, you so full of shit, you never had an asshole. Fucking go in the Winnebago, spitting some of the illest tables, ready for the naval. Split the potato, take it to the bank in the capital. Faster than politicians, accepting a check from the rotten lobbyists. Shit is so real, I'm at the bottom of it, it's selling for profit. The popular elevating, they swallow all of it. Calling it a problem when McCarthy spits. Get me on the bottom, I'll probably still be smart as shit at Harvey this. While the top of the obvious, I'm politician on the chip. Always on that naughty list, but it's a real what time is it? How time I find the shit? Plays it quick, get so hot that I can get the time exists. Nigga, go off, I smoke off, and I don't off, and I don't off, will be both off, and stopping there's no option.
Brown Radio. Your boy DJ Swamp Thing, Tiffany Hill in the building.
Yes.
Still sitting here with Emperor Chaz. Rocking the house. Whitney Chanel in the building over there. Are you choking?
Right. Is that?
Oh, it's good.
Is it? Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Where's that mango dragon?
I thought that was your dry curry chicken that you're eating.
What was the juice, Whitney?
Mango dragon fruit.
Yeah, I work at a Starbucks. I know all about mango dragon
sugar in
fruit.
this one. Like, there's no. It usually has like a.
Well, now you good. You got the whiskey inside, so take care of all that. You are okay.
Yeah.
Tiffany, how you doing over there?
Just reading.
Man, what you reading?
I was
We're
reading.
just shooting the shit right now, so you can say whatever you want.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure I do that anyway, but
That's true. True. Fact.
facts. I was reading more about this college admission scandal, which we definitely also, I feel like, if there's time for all the things that I mentioned, we have to touch on. Because just for the simple fact of like, damn,
Trying to pay for
damn, can the world be a little bit fair? Like, you know what I'm saying? Can there ever be anyone who's like down for being like a good fucking quality person, or
Not
is
if you make money like
everyone
that.
fucking shitty? Like, here's my thing: you already have millions of dollars. Why does your daughter need to go? Like, why? For what?
I mean, they have to make
Right.
their own
Fuck
way.
But they're not really making their own way if they didn't make their own way to get their asses nailed. So
that's
fuck
about,
them.
yeah.
Like,
They're
that's
not
fucked
making
up. Because
Right.
the bottom line is, I mean, it's not a surprise that rich people pay to get their way into lots of shit. We all know that that's what they do. Who wouldn't? If you were rich, you would pay to get in the club. You would pay to get in blah blah blah. You would pay to, you know,
Yeah.
you pay to go to the best concert. You pay to stay in the nicest suites. You go on the nicest flight. You wouldn't pick coach when you could clearly, you know, charter a plane. So, does this speak to just, you know, this is just one of the things that it's a perk for being wealthy?
It's not fair.
Or do you think, on the other hand, as this child got in, some child did not get in?
Right.
Someone who worked
Who really
hard,
wants to go to
who really wants to go there, like who really aspires to, you know, be affiliated with that organization. Like, that's devastating. That's devastating.
Yep.
That's devastating.
I mean, it's to me, I took it as a middle finger. I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, kind of what you said. You know, we're here trying to work on. That is a goal that many people don't get to accomplish, and a lot of it is because they don't have the money. Financial aid only covers so much.
Yeah.
And unless you get a scholarship, even sometimes the scholarships doesn't cover everything.
No.
You know what I mean? So, and you have, it's more than just going to class. You got room and board, you got food, you got travel, transportation. You got, there's so many other things that are on the list when you talk about going to a college, especially one of those big Ivy League or really private school or something like that. So for somebody to just come and say, hey, well, you know what, I got I can pay the whole 4 years right here, right now. As a matter of fact, let's do that, and let's have somebody go ahead and just throw a little A here and there. They really didn't deserve it. It's a big fucking that's a big middle finger to people who are sitting up at 3 in the morning trying to study with fucking A.
Yeah.
For this beat. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely hurting and ashamed by it for sure.
Yeah, it was weird because it was for USC, right?
Mhm.
So like it wasn't even like it was like
Isn't a big,
Stanford.
right?
Yeah,
Which is not a big
like
school.
yeah. So like why does
Compared,
USC
right.
different from like any other school in that area? You know, maybe one that doesn't have like maybe one have as much fun, or maybe it's not the school you wanted to, but like
Right. But let's say you say that about Yale or something like that.
yeah, then at least
Maybe
I
that
could
would make more
see.
sense,
Yeah,
right.
it's still
There
bullshit,
were
but like I
that
understand
was
why.
USC was like one of the many. There's many schools that are that were caught doing this. And then like I was watching some YouTube video, and like the admissions to USC, it's 6,800 people apply.
Mhm.
They only let in 860
Wow.
or something.
Really, I didn't know it was that tiny.
So then for you to narrow that to make it even smaller by paying these people that really work hard to get into these schools, you see there's such a big.
But not only that, it wasn't even just that they took a spot. They took a spot also from an athlete. So
Yeah,
they paid to have their children be pretended to be a part of the
They were
USC
taking
crew
pictures,
team.
there's
So
Yeah.
so now you're talking about high schoolers who not only got good grades, worked hard, but also worked their ass
Or
off
student
at crew
athletes. Yeah.
to be an athlete, to get a scholarship, to get a spot, and these chicks don't even play.
Yeah.
Like they don't even participate in that sport.
They skipped class too, apparently a lot. And
Oh,
like,
wait,
there
no,
were
I know.
kids.
Jade
Well,
said how she doesn't get
if you're
shit.
paid to
Yeah,
get in,
exactly.
then
Yeah.
I'm sure you're pretty guaranteed on passing, right?
Yeah.
Would that be like a fair assessment as long as you show up sometime and turn some shit in? You're probably gonna pass. Your
Yeah.
parents already paid for you to get there.
Mhm.
They're probably
Uh-huh.
gonna head and put that last little C note on it to make sure they graduate. You know what
But
I'm
here's the thing
saying?
about
So,
that. What do you? Let's say that all happens and then you graduate. What job field do you go to where you don't look like an asshole because you didn't get that 4 years of appropriate education
I
because you
believe-
did that?
I
What
believe
can
our
you do? You can't be a doctor.
presidency. Mhm.
Right.
You say what?
Our presidency.
Hey! Pew, pew, pew.
I don't think that.
Well, shut the
And,
fuck
and you
up.
gotta
No.
and you gotta think like that's probably happened more than one
Oh,
time.
sure it has.
Think
Oh,
about the
yeah.
past
All the way up.
presidents that, like exactly.
All the way up.
Hundreds of years.
They can just go into their parents.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Small loan of $1 million.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right, but the
Kinda
one girl, the Full House's daughter has a YouTube channel. So she was on her YouTube like, yeah, I'm going to Bali this week, and then next week I'll come back, and then we're going to Indonesia and all these places. She's like, but I have to come back because I want to party. You know, I have to still get my push. Like, I don't know how my grades are going to be.
She
but
has
I like
to.
to party.
Right,
You know,
you
like
gotta
I have to be there for the
Yeah.
parties of my friends.
Yeah.
Like if you have to imagine how embarrassed her mom must be that she's done all this to get her fucking kid.
I would.
How can you be that a
So,
bit like
and this might have been like and think about it. You're a wealthy parent and you've probably spoiled your child because you're wealthy and life is good and whatever. And you realize your child is fucking entitled.
they're a little
and
shit?
Fucking,
Yeah.
yeah. fucking asshole.
Literally.
And you're like, oh my God, my kid's not gonna be shit. Like
Yeah.
my kid's gonna fucking hang out here all the time and fucking want to party and spend all my fucking cash.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh shit, I gotta get them into school so they can like learn to do something so they can be something.
Mm.
So I'm sure that that's probably, I mean, I can see putting myself in this woman's shoes. What wouldn't you do for your kid? I have
Right.
2 girls. Now I'm not a cheater, so I would like more so be like get your shit done, which is pretty much what I do. Crack them fucking A's out. But here I am, I'm cracking my kids about these A's, and then there's chicks paying to get my baby spot. Like that's fucking infuriating. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the rich parents, like at a certain point, I don't know if they really give too much of a shit about what their kids doing in general. Like they're like, all right, they got the money, like y'all do your thing, like whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, at a certain
That's
point,
one less
if
thing
you're
for
that,
them to worry about.
I mean, you also gotta remember, like, think about it. Everyone has been at a job where, like, you're working for someone that you know is not fucking qualified for their fucking job.
Oh, no.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
How the fuck did you get? Like, who do you know? Like, what kind of fake application? Like, what kind of lies did you put on your shit? Like,
Yeah.
because you're a moron. Like, you.
And yeah, that was the point I was trying to make earlier. It's like you can that kind of stuff will always be told. You can only get away with that stuff so much. You know, where your lack of education or lack of knowledge or lack of experience is gonna fall through. Everybody's looking at you like, how the hell did you even get through it? You know what I mean? So it's, in the long run, it's not even really worth it. But nobody thinks about it that far. It's just about how can I scheme right now? Right now. How can I get away with something right now? Forget the long haul, forget 6 months from now. How can I do it right now? And it's shitty because we're having the same right now, but we're saying, okay, what can I do to make sure I get the best education right now? What do I need to do to make sure I get the most qualified scholarship right now? So it's fucked up that the thought process is different and the goal at the end is not the same because you're cheating on your goal.
Yeah.
You're actually trying to do some shit.
Yeah. It's empty when you get that too. You know,
It's empty. Exactly. Exactly. Great point.
Yeah. So anyway,
You know.
it went like I just was like amazed by like all the different ways they were doing it. Like he had like the guy William Singer or whatever was like the guy who ran this college placement firm, like that's what it's called or whatever. And the key, and it was like, I mean, we're talking about UCLA, USC, Stanford, Yale, Georgetown. Like these ain't like raggedy schools. Like these parents are definitely setting their kids up for sure. And he'd been paid over like 25 million, like, you know, helping. Like this is like coaches are going down, professors are going, like, you know, like all these people are going down, like juicy. It's juicy.
Yeah.
But is it all just a distraction? Let's keep it all the way 1,000.
That's what they're calling everything. That's what they're calling all that.
With what should be the scandal of a lifetime, which is the White House bullshit going on. Like, I mean, like, how can you literally have everyone in your fucking camp get indicted and like go down and you're like, I don't know anything about these things that are happening. I never participated in these conversations. Like you're literally looking at me like I'm a fucking dumbass. Like that's how I feel. Like he talks to me like it doesn't matter if you believe me. I'm telling you. So therefore, like no, like this is fucking ridiculous. So
Yeah.
And a third of the country actually buys it.
yeah.
That's because they watch
And
one media station.
I'm almost pained because in that situation, my thought process is: are you bamboozled, or are you choosing to
Or you just that
ignore,
fucking dumb.
or are you dumb? Like
No.
like not
Maybe a
even on some
combination.
like your views should be my views because if your views aren't my views, then you're clearly an idiot. But this is literally like, I want to scam everyone. I want to cage people's children. I want to tell people how to like. I want to tell people like there's gonna be no like tax cuts to the rich, but I'm gonna give all the tax cuts to the rich.
That's the
Like
thing,
stop
yeah.
lying to me. I'm not
Plain as
confused
a
about
button.
what you're doing.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
stop telling me you had a real fucking university and people are getting scammed. Stop telling me you have real foundations and people are getting
Yo.
scammed.
Like
Like,
I actually know
you're
like
a scammer. You're a bad guy. Like
I-
you're a bad person. Like
there are a ton of conservative people I know that are extremely intelligent. The thing is, they have that mindset of, I don't want anything to do with politics, and that's the issue. You know, they grew up watching Fox News, and they hear little snippets of that, you know, constantly, but they don't want to research beyond that. They only hear that. It's that echo chamber that they live in. And, you know, they think everything is fine and dandy with this current administration, but then they don't decide to look past that at what is actually happening in front of them.
so, meaning, do you feel like when they hear, if they do report this on Fox News, like about the children being in cages ripped from their parents, like literally as they get here, like, are they like, that's fake news? And like, is that literally what they
Yes,
think? Like, in real
100%.
life, They think
Yeah.
that people are like making up real farces.
Some people
are that
much in the box,
It's,
like
it's,
that,
it-
they
it's
think
either
that.
that or they see it and they say, well, the Obama administration did it, so it's okay. But that's not entirely true. That's not looking at the entire picture. And it's, you know, they still don't decide to look at like what this administration is doing. They only look to the past and say, well, that kind of sort of happened. And because Trump is doing it, that doesn't make it wrong.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know people who like regretful Trump. Like one example, someone who didn't think the Billy Bush thing, you know, the grabbing by the pussy. They assumed, like from their sources, they assumed that was fake. So when someone brought up to them, they're like, "Oh my god, like that actually happened!" Like I heard, like I knew.
It's
that
just
was a
locker
lie.
room
I
talk.
thought that
It's,
was
you
fake
know,
news.
guys, you know,
And they're like, "Oh, I
locker
wouldn't
room
have
talk
told them if I
is what they said.
That or this thing. So yeah, I think it depends on where you get your.
Right.
And you have on Fox, you have some like real reporting that goes on, and then but the problem I think is that after that you have all these talk shows that are just opinion only, like Sean Hannity
Yeah.
and all these guys that are, it's just complete bullshit. So they Fox viewers get like kind of the information, but then immediately it's like interpreted for them through that like that conservative lens.
Even with all this backlash of like him really seriously under like federal like investigation, I think like Trump's like so rich that he's like he still doesn't give a shit. He still thinks he's never gonna be behind bars with all the money he has.
Or at least he
So
says
he's just gonna
rich.
ride that shit out.
Right.
Like
But like, are they not now bothered? Even if they rode with him through the grab him through the pussy and all these other sexual allegations, and then Cohen, and then Omarosa before that. Not that she had so much credence, but at the same time, yeah, kind of interesting. Like all these people are even the what's the rounder guy's name? He's a little bit round, and he was like very like super. I don't know. His name starts with a B.
Last name starts with
Blanton, Barton. That's gonna piss me off. Okay. Anyway.
No, I can't help you.
Right, I hate you so much. Anyway, like as he is surrounded by all of these people that are telling him and saying, even coming out and saying like shitty things about him, like, are they still? Are they still riding for him? Like, are they still like, oh, these court allegations and all these other indictments about all these other people who are talking about him? Oh, this investigation, is this any how do you let that go? Like, how is that something that you're okay with your president being involved in, like right fucking now, now, while he should be worrying about like North Korea or like anything else, anything else.
Yeah.
Like he has his own scandal and potential like battle in court coming up here, and like how are they? How
They say it's fake.
How is it fake? It's on.
I don't know.
News.
I don't know.
Like
I don't know.
it's in every newspaper. Like it's
some people will never know. Well,
It
the
never
true
comes up.
perspective, like some people will never have that true bird's eye perspective. Like they'll never be out of their little cloud.
I don't feel like I am even someone who is like, I follow every news story, because after a while it starts to like, I feel like emotionally affect me. Like,
Yeah,
where
it's
I'm like,
taxing.
God damn, like I'm sick of hearing shitty news.
It makes you depressed.
Like, okay, he said something else shitty and mean, and he hurt someone, and like they're sad now, and everyone's in a riot. Like, I got it. Like, he's a fucking douche. Like when are we talking about getting rid of the douche? Like what's the next point in this story? Because that's where I'm at with it. Like you know. But at the same time, you almost have to like be abreast, because like what's going on in the world that we live in right now? Like what? Like where are you? Like case in point, the whole New Zealand thing. Like this horrendous tragedy happens. Immediate response to, oh my God, how will we make sure this never happens again? Because we love our people and we love citizens being, welcome to worship and be happy and, whatever it is, living their lives, minding their own damn business on whatever day it was. You know what I mean? Like, and they immediately respond with, let's get stricter gun laws. How can we make sure that they can't? And we've watched child after child after child after child get slaughtered, like concert goers and like party goers. Like we're families. Like we don't give a shit. Like we're all dead. Well, I'd like to buy 10 more of these. Like why? Like I don't understand how we continue to like let that shit go. Like I'm getting to a point where I'm like, do I still live here? Or
because you see everyone responding to stuff,
right?
And like we just hear these headlines and everyone gets really sad.
Yeah, and then we bounce back with some other shit. Like I mean,
something new happens.
Like right, and we're like, and we're entertained for a moment too.
But do you guys remember Sandy Hill? Like how big of news that was? Yeah. That same thing has happened multiple times, and it hasn't been as big. Like it's been, we've been desensitized to that kind of thing. Yeah. It's not headlines anymore. That's how common it is, and it's. I think that's
just another day.
Yeah, it's just another day.
And the fact that when people came out and said it was a hoax, like you mean to tell me, like, there's videos of people, the killing of children, like this, and people and the parents responding, like that's all some bullshit. How fucking terrible are you as a person? But then, like, I mean, it's also like, when has the government not spun us for some crazy shit before? So it's kind of like that whole like, how do you know what
Say
to
it.
believe type thing.
Yeah, we've been thinking about that shit ever since he came in office. Like, I mean, we've been chronicling that shit since like he was even an option.
Do you feel
Yeah.
like right when it was a fucking option? I was like, listen the fuck up, guys. This is trouble a brewing. Like, is this some bullshit? Like,
thought it
you
was a
shouldn't
joke.
even be a kid.
Right.
Yeah,
We
I
all
think
thought-
Yeah.
everybody thought it was a joke,
We
and
thought it
then
was
it
funny.
wasn't.
And I woke up.
And then it was like,
And then it
no,
happened.
motherfuckers are giving this some real thought. Like, motherfuckers are entertaining this for real. Like, this fool was on Apprentice 2 years ago. Like, and we're like laughing at him
Mhm.
Yeah.
and his fake hair and his
Yeah.
gold toilet seat and all this silly shit. Like, Snoop Dogg just roasted him on Comedy
yeah.
Central.
Yeah.
Like, why are we now? He's our president. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Well, we do a little something with Trump. We haven't recorded this or anything, but we do something every show. I do 32 bars from the perspective of Donald Trump, and it's just some scathing shit.
But then we also play the perspective of the citizen watching Donald Trump right
Mhm.
after.
Yeah,
That's dope.
but like you see the hypocrisies. Like I'm essentially paraphrasing
right?
when I'm talking about this shit. I'm like, it's only the 2 weeks leading up to the inauguration is what like I base the events off of.
Mm-hmm.
He came up to us and he's like, I want you guys to play something really sinister for this song. And so we just kind of sat there and came up with something really sinister sounding. And then he
Yeah.
was able to
This one hits, like it hits.
Yeah.
We get people fired up on that.
The only my
Do you ever
only
feel like you have to like think about who your guests are?
Well, it's funny
Before you-
because like most anybody knows the hypocrisy
like
of
some
it. Like
bullshit.
they know that I'm like displaying the bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But even if you have somebody that's like so far on the right wing, like they could hear that and actually fuck with it.
Which is kind of sad. Like I remember we happened at Rumble where there were some guys that were.
I wrap this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they took
They
it
were-
like unironically.
Yeah, they
kind
were
of.
Trump fans, and so he's saying like really, if you don't know that it's a satire, it's really like not cool stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But there were these people that didn't hear the sinister beat behind it, and they just heard his bars, and yeah, they just completely like, oh yeah,
They loved it.
like yeah, I'm pumped about it.
That's
Yeah.
the thing is you're basically just paraphrasing Trump.
I'm honestly paraphrasing, like because it works because like Trump thinks he's the shit, and then like you have your like braggadocio, like
Right.
kind of like rap persona.
Mhm.
So it's like, I mean, we could do it if you wanted.
Go ahead. Are you saying you telling me you can do it?
Yeah.
We could do it.
I'm listening.
We
You
won't
gotta-
fucking stop you.
you
What
wanna
do
pull
you
some-
need us?
What do you need? What do you need?
Throw in
I'm
the original
thoroughly-
beat.
All right, there's
I'm
a
thoroughly
Jay-Z
engaged.
The Evil's instrumental. There's like a knockoff version on YouTube. We can use.
You said nothing but a word. Don't challenge me. What's it called?
Jay-Z The Evils with the little apostrophe.
If I recall, wasn't this the bars that they heard that got you the rehab set?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
But yeah, to get that first rehab.
matter of fact, yeah.
Hey, Jay-Z, is there one in particular?
Yes, that first one.
First
The first one's gonna work. Yo,
Which
switch
one?
your
You wanna
spots
get?
real quick. Switch your spots real quick.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Hold on, let me get this up. My live up. This way. Matter of fact. Yeah. Exclusive.
Oh yes, sir.
Hell
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So we got 2 more years. That is terrible. Man, so we appreciate that I felt like that was some dessert right there.
YouTube is great for people that are just starting a new business or small business owner.
Sure.
It's gotta be heard.
That was crazy. Man, what do you say after that, Tiff?
I don't know.
Yeah, and she don't say I don't know often.
That was dope. I had a great time.
Share that right now. Put that on right now.
Yeah, I already sound.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing. Man, I can't thank y'all enough for being here. I really do appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate y'all rocking with us in these conversations. We try to get as many of these conversations like this done as possible in a 2-hour span.
Yeah.
But usually there's always one that hits everybody.
Mhm.
And that's the one we stay on the most. I mean, as you guys, I'm sure you guys know, I'm confident you guys know now that there's a lot of other bullshit out here that needs to also be spoke on. But I think us as creatives and us as have a platform with a mic almost have a responsibility, to at least continue the awareness.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be full blown and pointing fingers all the time, but I think people who are going to listen to you anyway, we kind of have an obligation to say, hey, don't forget, X, Y, and Z, or blah blah blah. Hey, Whitney, you missed it.
I stopped from a personal trainer. I'm going to be looking like a Buffy the Body.
Yeah.
You said Buffy the Body.
Yeah.
Talk to her.
Ready for something,
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm back.
so let's do this because we running a little low on time. Let's go ahead and do the tease. How long is the tease? Do you know right off?
It is like about 20 seconds, I think.
Oh, it's that short of a tease.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's not a lot.
Short.
Okay. So let's not do that right now. Yeah. That's what else you got over there, Tiff? We can kind of spark up a little bit because I know you got something else you can chop up on.
Well, we talked to, I
We
mentioned,
did talk about
yeah, we did. But, I mean, how
Yeah,
can
that's
you
okay.
not?
Yeah. All good.
Wade Robeson, who
You got any
is
good
one
news
of,
over there?
oh, no,
No.
sorry. I mean, you want to hear the Jay-Z thing? I mean, we kind of talked about that whole week.
Yeah, Blueprint.
That's a milestone.
That's huge.
That's
Yeah, let's talk about that.
huge.
That's
Yeah,
huge.
okay.
Yeah.
You want to uplift her?
Yeah, let's do
Let's do it.
end on a positive note.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So as we were saying earlier, Jay-Z's The Blueprint album is being inducted into the Library of Congress's National Recording Registry, which is a super huge deal because in my mind, I don't know how much hip hop they normally induct.
Fairly
Right.
I think that's the first one.
Might be the first
I'm
one.
looking to see where it says it's the
that's-
first one, but it definitely is a nice sign when we think about the history of our music and the different cultural, I guess, additions and how music has grown from the different like rock and then bluegrass and funk and jazz and hip hop and like making sure to like if you're going to preserve music that you preserve all kinds of music. So I think that's super dope. But like what an honor it must be for it to be Jay-Z to have been that person. So yeah, it's pretty dope. I mean, and especially that album. I mean, if this helps you remember, this
My
was
favorite.
01. Right, it is definitely,
that
yeah.
was 01?
This is song, right. Don't you,
Oh,
wait, don't it make you sad a little?
That
Don't it
was
make you
low.
sad? Yikes.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is Girls, Girls, Girls.
Yeah.
This is H to the Izzo. This is Song Cry. Those are those songs. So I mean, like, that brings that back. Yeah, absolutely.
Classic.
So, yeah.
The one where he samples "Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City." That
Oh,
one's-
yeah,
that's
yeah.
one of my favorite
Yeah.
songs.
That's
Yeah.
Kanye.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
early Kanye
Yeah,
producing
yeah,
for
that-
when he was
yeah.
trying
That
to
was when
get out
nobody
as
knew
a
who
rapper.
Kanye was.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
just-
When he was just
Yeah,
producing.
that was in
Yeah.
the studio in the dark, Kanye. Like that was
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
And I don't what happened? What was the transformation? What
His mother died.
I think so too.
Yeah, and then
I
808s
think
and
after that it
Heartbreaks
was
comes
all
out right
over.
after.
for him.
Yeah.
I think after
Because
that
that's when it
that
got
was it.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
weird.
because
I
like,
like that.
Then we got
Emotional.
because I can listen
Yeah.
to College Dropout like front to back, like
That
like,
album
yeah,
changed
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Like that influenced Drake. That influenced
You
so
wouldn't
many
have to.
contemporary
Right.
hip hop. Like
He's been back to his old like soul chop and grind with like
You think so?
the summer, like I mean he produced all those 5 albums like in five weeks. Like he's chopping up soul again at
Okay,
least.
Yeah.
now,
At least.
with our previous discussion about Trump and his bullshit about Trump, does it influence how you see him though? Because I think that has
Yeah.
affected my love for him because, I don't know, I'm terrible at remember her name right now too, but his ex-girlfriend, if you remember, no,
Yeah.
not that one, like his boo thing from like high school, like
Oh,
his
high
boo,
school chick,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think it's a
The
tragedy.
one, no, not even because they broke up, but like the whole, like, he makes College Dropout talking about her and his relationship and the family and, how, like, like he makes that song or that line, break up, like leave your ass for a white girl, like that whole, like, classic line of like, once he gets on, like once they get famous or whatever. And she is a spoken word artist and she like wrote that into a poem, like basically, getting at him and his words, like, what did you do? Like you did exactly what you said you weren't gonna do. That was like, hip and hypocrisy. And then like this whole MAGA red hat, like he's a Superman, like people like legit are like, is he confused?
He has a
Is
disease.
or is somebody fucking with him? Like, you know what I mean? Like that whole like, I don't know if y'all saw the movie Get Out, but it's like, is that like, I mean, people like it's a joke, but it's kind of not a joke. Like, is he in the sunken place where you don't know like all that you have ever stood for? Because now I don't know that I can trust your music because I don't know what you're really telling me.
I
That's
think
kind of how I feel.
all right, so he is bipolar, and I think they say that after 30, like it starts to get worse, and I think the guy has a serious problem. Like the guy
guy needs help. Like
he does.
He will say some crazy shit, and I think that his mind is slowly deteriorating. And I hope the best for him.
Right.
Like, and at the same time, it's no excuse
Right.
for what he has said.
Right.
And all this and this and that, but people need to like take a look at mental health here. And,
Yeah.
like, and
For sure.
No, like I'm like really familiar with bipolar. Like I have family that have it. Like when he was going through that, he was wearing the MAGA hat. He had the same look that I've seen before. Like he was manic. He didn't. I don't think he really thought through what he was saying.
No.
You know, I like he said, I think he needs some help.
It
Seriously.
just seems so odd that while yes, I know that mental health is real, and I know it's a very big stigma in the Black community, especially for Black men. But like for him to be such a Black activist, and that be his childhood and his life and his passion, and then you align yourself with. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's just
you
like
never will.
I looked at like I remember him talking to Trump, right? Like he was literally in the White House with him. He was talking about this, and it was jumbled. Like his thoughts like didn't connect with each other.
Right.
It's almost like it's like connected to schizophrenia. You know, like like a lot of what he was saying just didn't make sense, or it was conspiracy theories. And then I remember him like several months after being like, I redact what I was saying. Like, I don't think I really meant a lot of it. Like, and he's also come out and said that he's bipolar. Like, I just think that maybe he just needs to like see like just a therapist, like just talk through some things. All that power and money has to get to you, you know?
In your brain.
Yeah. Like I can't imagine having that mental illness and then having that much attention put on you all the time.
Yeah.
That has to be really hard on you.
But at the same, like we're not defending his words.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is just all
It's just the grain of salt I think you take.
That happened to Carrie Fisher too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's so I mean it's just really you need some help. Yeah.
I'm pulling for the guy. Like
Yeah, I definitely think he is musically he's a genius for sure.
Absolutely.
I don't take that away from him. Like we said earlier, I mean I can, especially his older stuff. You know, I mean that man was just on another. Musically, we weren't ready.
Yeah.
I don't think we were ready at all. But as it progressed and all of those things started coming out, and you started seeing him as just a human being, you know, versus a 5-star producer or something like that.
Yeah.
Like everybody, you know, it started. You know, your opinion started changing about it more. The way you saw his music, you dissected his music differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the College Dropout and all of that stuff. All of those albums was keen because he literally just talked about his experience in school. How many people have those same experiences? And that's what made him so great.
Yeah.
Is that he was able to cater to millions of college students who either went to college, dropped out, or had those kind of same experiences that he had. You know, and you had what, 2 or 3 albums based off that same type of deal.
Yeah.
And it was gangster rap. It was gangster rap. It was 50 Cent. It was gangster rap.
Right.
That was like in the forefront.
But it was everything. The college experience in general was not safe, from class to fraternities to everything was not safe. But it was genius in the fact of, you know, catering to the younger generation or the college generation who are already impressionable. You know what I mean? Like, damn, man, this dude is talking about exactly what I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how he made his money. But, you know, as things, like I said, as things progressed and his life changed and he lost, you know, someone important. I mean, it just showed how human he was. Because anybody, if my mom's still around, but if, God forbid, she takes a bucket anytime soon, I would probably change too. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. So, yeah, I like what you said. You know, pray. You know, the only thing we can do is just hope for the best for him and that. So, man, again, we appreciate it, y'all. We definitely appreciate it. I can't say that enough. You know, we definitely did. What What? Oh,
I
nobody's
went
out
to
there.
see not yet, not yet,
Okay.
not yet.
So we have a show that comes on right after us.
Okay.
So we try our best sometimes.
Well,
to,
we
you
also
know,
sometimes keep going.
Yeah.
If they're not here,
Yeah, I
so-
mean, we're,
Yeah, I mean,
if we love the people we're sitting next to, we try to
True,
prolong
otherwise
that.
they'd be like, looks like
It's time to go.
I'm gonna give him a head start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so okay. So I mean, I feel like we can't not end it without like if we're going to say we can understand some of this, but keep the genius of his music, right? Then do you throw out the R. Kellys?
No,
Do you throw
absolutely
out
not.
the Do you throw out the Michael Jacksons? Do you throw out like because they were accused of something so great?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm not gonna say R. Kelly was accused. He did that shit. Like,
Yeah, he
Yo,
did
yeah,
that.
no,
definitely
yeah,
did
absolutely.
that.
100%.
he
And
did it 1
He definitely did
million%. And wait, didn't I hear that he allegedly came out with a "I Admit" like a song? Like my kids were telling me this, like, and I was like, is it a real song or is it like somebody made a
I
parody
read
song?
Like, his music was great, but like it's not great enough that we can't just say
Disregard,
fuck that.
right? No,
Yeah.
Right?
definitely can't.
Like, all right,
Definitely.
I don't know. Step in the
Ignition.
name of love.
All right,
Well,
yeah, it's the summer
Ignition.
anthem.
Ignition.
Yeah, Ignition.
I don't
Like
know.
objectively, if it had some
The
kind of
remix to
influence.
Ignition, come on,
Yeah.
that shit.
That-
Like,
that shit on your
objectively.
booty.
Yeah,
Come
no,
on.
I agree with
Party.
you.
That was
Yeah.
the best song you ever heard.
Look, the guy was a piece of shit, but like, look, objectively, if it had some kind of influence on today's music, you have to look at that as fact. Like it happened.
Now,
You know?
do you like it in
You
a
have-
situation? Do you then strip him of like, let's say he's won musical awards? Do you like if you could? Obviously, you can or you shouldn't or whatever the fuck. But like, do you think he should be because he was accused of something and he did, especially if he's found guilty or whatever, of these heinous crimes against children
Yeah.
because they're children?
I
like,
mean-
do you then take him out of the archive of classic amazing music, even though everybody remembers that from the 90s
Hey,
to 2000s.
he's
he was
convicted.
killing it.
Snuff him the fuck out. Like, I mean, it's the same
Yeah.
with Cosby. Like, he's done. Like,
Yeah.
he's fucking done.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird. So, and I'm still mulling
If he's
over a lot of
convicted.
this, but it's weird separating, I think, the creator from the creation.
Mhm.
Because you think about I mean, Cosby especially is a point where he is objectively, he's a terrible person. But I mean, if you look at the Cosby Show, like I watched that when I was a kid, and I learned a lot of shit from that.
Right.
So it had a positive. The creation had a positive influence on my life, and there were more people involved in that than just Bill Cosby. You know, it was his co-stars, it was the company.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, at the very least, I mean, there's a massive asterisk, and
It's
I
a bummer
think
that everybody, like, that was involved with that goes down with the shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think you need to. And again, I'm
Well,
still
I think
processing.
That's
this.
similar to like the Roseanne Barr situation. That was pretty
Mm-hmm.
like she said shitty things, but like they all lose the show. But like they kind of have to all lose the show because the fucking show was about fucking her.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, But
Yeah,
then, it's like,
came
then
back
I
and we
think
did
they
it.
did come back
did.
with it
did.
without her, but
Without her.
I don't think it did well because, like,
Because the star has gone.
because
That's just the way
it's
is.
like,
The
did
star.
she suddenly die? Like, did she like what did they suddenly get divorced? Like, it doesn't even make
You
sense.
can't play it in.
I
make
watched
sense.
it. Yeah. That's funny because I watched a few just to see how they would work, and
Me too.
and they really didn't specify why the character was not there anymore. They just went along as if she was a neighbor. You know what I mean? Like it
Huh.
wasn't. There wasn't a fine definition of okay, Roseanne's not here. Here's why. Even if you had to make it up for the show purposes,
Right.
that wasn't there either.
When they switched the actresses and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like,
Well, they switched Vivian, but well, yeah, that's true. But they kept that going. The character was still there.
Yeah, the character.
And in this one, the character
Yeah.
in Roseanne, the character wasn't there at all. You know, with not Hillary, Vivian. You know, the character was still there, and yeah, for some people, it was like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like.
Family Matters.
Yeah, they took the other kid out. There was three kids, and then there was two kids, and we all pretended like
they never put her back.
right. Like I always thought it was crazy that nobody knows that. I'm so glad that you said that. But like
Never came back.
anyway, like in relationship to now, like the Michael Jackson, like when you think of like people who always credit like musical geniuses, you always hear Michael Jackson, you always hear Prince, you always hear some of those iconic names. Now, with a scandal like this, and it also reminds me of African Bambaataa, like if y'all know who that is, like whatever, and that whole like, yeah, great that you're like this awesome pioneer of hip hop music, but you also were fucking boys, and like, and that's unacceptable. You don't get to do that to people because you think you're so dope, like, 100%. and do we say that for Michael, or is this just still like one of those? I don't know, like, is it because we don't want to believe it, or is it because the shit just doesn't fucking add up? But then on the other hand, it's pretty odd.
I haven't seen the.
Right, neither have I. Neither have I. This is just me speaking to like the news talking about it.
Mm-hmm. I want to believe that he didn't do that.
But he probably
Michael,
like from what I've heard,
from what I've heard,
the videos I've seen, like
yeah. I mean, I think we even knew about it before that came out. Like people still talked about it, you know, Neverland Ranch and Macaulay Culkin and everything.
Right, like they are, but like he never said that, and like the people who like in the thing, he got off because they said it wasn't true. Like, even though there were other people, well, they're coming out, I think, now to like, well, what he said, Wade Robson, was he said to give people, other sexual assault victims, like, courage to come out as well. Because even though, you know, he's not necessarily getting financial gains and he's not necessarily getting this, that, and the third. And obviously Michael is not going to prison because he's deceased. Like, the point of this for him, he said, was to give other people the courage to come out. And with this whole spur of the Me Too movement, I mean, I would say it totally fit timing wise to do so. And then the R. Kelly thing had just, you know, come out like on Lifetime, like what, a couple weeks prior to that. So, I mean, the timing makes sense, but is it, I think you have to like think back then, did you believe it then? Because I remember it being a big, I still don't fucking know. Like I feel like my family like are like, you know, there's some of us who are like, oh, he fucking did that shit. That shit is weird. His daddy was weird and they beat him and they did all these horrible things, so he turned out weird. Like, yeah, okay, maybe he turned out weird, but does weird mean I touched him? Like, you know what I mean? Or is that some convenient ass shit to say to the rich black man who could lace you with a dope ass career and a whole bunch of money, and he would rather not have this scandal of you saying that he touched your kids, so he just gives you some fucking money, like, all right, bitch, whatever, like, let's just like settle it and like let me continue making my music.
I was always under the lens that like it was the parents trying to fucking cash the fuck out on some shit. Like maybe I'm an optimist.
Right.
But like I always thought it was like the parents trying to like cash in on a big ass lawsuit, you know.
And that's
unfortunately
that's not too far.
Yeah, like, and that's it. Like, because there are so many shitty parents, and like
I'm just
come up with
optimist,
shitty schemes. You have that, but then you have like, is this some innocent guy, or is he a musical fucking genius, and we are just so captivated by how amazing he makes us feel and how he's inspired all these dance moves and like these signature looks and fashion and blah 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 that we are like, hey, Riley, dude.
As simple as this.
Weird that he had a little boy.
But as simple as this sounds.
It's weird, you know what I'm saying?
But there's a threshold here. Like it's like how fucking famous and influential you are versus how controversial
Which
the
brings
shit.
us back to the pay for college shit.
But as simple as this might sound, for me, and I would say this about anybody who's has this kind of genius but terrible person type deal. I don't like talking about the Michael Jackson thing because he's not around to defend himself anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so that's I get it. I get that something while he was here, some things might have or might not have transpired.
I don't think
I
it
get
stops
that.
it for me.
But
that's why I don't give a shit.
Because I think
if
if he
it
did
does
it,
for
it's
me, because
indefensible.
how do you expect somebody to rest in
still
peace if
shitty.
you keep doing
But
that
maybe
shit?
I don't want you to fucking rest in peace because you're a fucking child molester.
Hey, you can't.
But
But maybe he's not. But maybe he's not. He's
not.
maybe he's not. But he's not here to say he's not.
But I don't
So
think
all you going on is people who claims they were in the room, who claims it was him, who claims that they did this. There's no two sides. There's only one. If that person isn't alive,
it's the
and there's always two sides to a story.
I feel like it's the fascination of the idea that someone that has like influenced music that much or influenced something that much could do something that dark. Like I feel like that just captivates everyone.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like the idea of that just is newsworthy. And so I think that's where a lot of that comes about is just the fact that he was an ultra genius.
Right. You're talking
It's,
like
it's hard to believe that he didn't do
I mean,
anything.
you're talking about the king of pop.
monumental shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking
literally.
like Beatles, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Like,
If you
the two
heard like,
biggest things to ever happen.
if you heard
fucking
on the
American
news
music.
that Paul McCartney could have done something like that to a kid, then people would buy into it for weeks, right? Like it's the same exact
talking
thing.
about Paul
It's someone
McCartney.
on that level doing
Well, I
something
think that was probably. I mean, I think that was the momentum of the Me Too movement in general because there were so many people on that list that you were like, what?
I mean, John beat his wife.
Stop.
Like,
Matt Lauer.
Yeah, that
movie-
surprised
man,
me.
That was like a fucking gut punch. I love Matt Lauer. I knew that if I met Matt Lauer, we would be cool as fuck and we would have good conversations. Like, because he was just so like entertaining to watch the way he asked questions, his face. He was good. Like, he was great. Like, I was into it. So now to find out, like, you're like the weird guy in the office, like,
Yeah, for real.
like that is unsettling. That's like, God damn it.
Louis C.K. like masturbating.
Like,
That's what it is.
I thought you were cool.
Yeah.
Like, I laughed with you in my living room late at night for so many times. Like, and now you're creepy.
Yeah, you said shit about this, why it's bad, and now you're doing it.
Like Silverman's talk about it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So I want to play this tease because I don't want us to leave without doing it. What is 30 seconds? And our sisters
we need to get out of here.
Our sisters radar on here.
They're about to be like,
out of here, right?
motherfuckers.
Because they might, maybe this is a trick.
exclusive.
Yeah, here's the exclusive.
Emperor
what's
Chess
the name- now,
exclusive.
What's the name of it?
This has just been it's our gift to everybody that's been keeping up with us.
Okay.
It was first day of spring. Yesterday was actually the first day of Chaz season.
Yeah.
So we give him-
All right, so here we go. So on that note, I'm gonna do this. So we're gonna close it out, and we'll let that play after that. So make sure that you guys follow Breaking Ground Radio on Instagram and Facebook at just Breaking Ground Radio. You can follow myself at Swamp Thing DJ, which is DJ Swamp Thing backwards on Instagram. That's my biggest thing. Facebook is there too, DJ Swamp Thing, but it's not as big as Instagram. So that's where you can follow me the most. Make sure you send all your music submissions to breakingground.radio@gmail.com. We've been starting to get a lot. The flood has been coming. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of music through the Breaking Ground Radio email, and we appreciate it. So please keep doing that.
Random ass.
Yeah,
Like,
please keep doing that. Big up to Emperor Chaz yet again. Much
Thank you.
applause to
Thank you
all
for
of
having
you
me.
folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was a
it's an
great
honor.
time. We're gonna make sure we definitely do it again. Tiffany, get Lynn last words. Whitney. Tiff.
Follow me on Instagram, Miss Whitney Chanel. I decorated my Facebook because I'm going through my breakup.
Hey, fuck relationships.
Hey. Hey.
Wowzers. It's your girl Tiffany L on Facebook and Tielco on Instagram, TIELCO. So yeah, I had a great time. It was a great show.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to get a copy of this one.
I'm on my way to. I'm gonna go check out Sauce. I want to support Sauce. If y'all, I did a couple of events with
Too
him.
much sauce.
A little bit. No, this is Max. I did a couple of events.
What's this dude?
That's
His name
that's
is Sauce. Photographer dude.
Max is his real name.
That's
But
his real name?
But I did a couple of shows with him. I DJ'd a couple of shows with him, and he's got a show now that I want to go support.
Maybe, but it's popular. You see my haircut?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
All right, here's the tease. Peace. We're gonna take pictures of these guys. And get out of here.
It's so fine, fine by me, a peace.